Yo, what's up everyone? Welcome here to another video on my channel. We have something good, you know, HOTS related. Good news actually, not too often, but it's the case again. Blizzard dropped the bomb yesterday. PTR Patch Notes once more in 2024. Can you imagine? I think it's the... Is it the third or fourth balance patch we get this year after a very long time of hiatus where really nothing happened outside of some bug fixes. And to be fair, some of the bug fixes were pretty big as well. But so these are the notes from yesterday. Came in very hot. We have obviously some bug fixes. We have some balance changes, hero updates, and there's a general slider as well. Actually, let me move my camera to the other side. There we go. So once again, they updated the home screen and the startup music. I think, like currently we have the pool party one, right? The Stitches Brawl from back in the day, including the music or the jingle. And we will get something similar. Obviously, this is not new material. Basically, they salvage what they already have. But I think it's kind of cool. I think it's kind of nice that they do it. It shows, like, you log into the game and there's a new screen, right? It shows that it gives you a little bit of flair. It shows that they care a bit about it. I think that's kind of neat. Let's go over the hero updates very quick. They are mostly exactly the same. I will explain it very quickly as well. So, make this slightly bigger. Sorry. There we go. Is this? It should be fine. So most of them no longer ignore vision limitations. What it says for loop, Garrosh W, Garrosh body check, Gul'dan W, and so on. So basically, what happened is if you use your loop on a Nova, you click on her, and then Nova becomes stealthed. The Chromie would walk after and actually cast the loop on the now stealthed. And I mean, if there's a clone, she will cast it on the real Nova, the one you initially clicked on, which is a bit odd if you think about it, right? So basically now, at least I'm pretty sure that's what's gonna happen. So you click loop on the Nova, she walks out of range, she becomes invisible. The Chromie will stop walking after her, trying to cast the loop. So yeah, either you get it off right away, before, like, within range and within vision, or you not gonna walk after them. I think this is it was a very rare case to really matter, but it felt very weird when it did. Because it means, like, the Chromie presses the button and then takes the hands off the keyboard and mouse and just let the character walk after her until the loop is getting cast, you know? Which didn't probably happen too often, but when it did, I think it felt very weird, and it felt like there's something wrong. Balance updates. We start with ARAM. Everyone's favorite game mode, of course. Honestly, probably the most populated one these days. Or one of the most populated ones. And the balance changes are both around the mirror matches, which is probably the least favorite game mode of everyone. I think Blizzard is aware of it. They're trying to make it a little bit better. I heard concerns about this already. So, same hero mode. It's basically the mirror in ARAM. It now enables HP and mana regeneration when you are in the fountain. And you can use your base, like Hearthstone. You can portal back. People are concerned that they will take even longer now to finish the games, because that's like the biggest pain about it. Not only do you have to play the mirror match, and often they are not that fun, but they also take very long because people just keep dying, trying to kill buildings. And yeah, maybe this will make it worse by making it even longer. I don't know, maybe it's more fun, I'm not sure. If you have a strong opinion about this, let me know in the comments. I think we figured out, and Blizzard figured that out as well, because they lowered the percentage of you being able to get the mirror matches, that it's really not what people want in ARAM usually. They kind of want to hop in, pick a hero out of 3, you know, get the choice at least, and then just play, boom, next game. But if you are in the mirror, you don't have a choice, and then you're stuck for like 20 minutes plus or something. Maybe not ideal. Balance changes. Now we are talking, and we're actually talking about a big boy. The biggest boy who dodged the bullet until now. That's Blaze. He finally gets a buff. Basic attack damage increased from 55 to 60. But hold up, don't worry. Don't turn off right away and uninstall HOTS. They actually, you will see down the line, there is some significant nerfs or noticeable nerfs. Starting with the Q, no longer to deal extra damage to structures. That was when Blizzard did the, I think it was used to call Crossfire, when they did it baseline into the Blaze Q. People starting, using it to full benefit by directly walking up to the opponent's tower and start spamming Qs on them. And because you every time you got the Crossfire proc, the damage was actually quite significant. So now it's a lot less useful. People might still do it, but it's less annoying, honestly. And I think this should have been done right away, actually. Adrenaline Stim Pack, that's the talent that most Blaze these days go on level 1. To be fair though, like, you could go any of the other level 1s, they're all pretty strong. But I'd say the meta talent, which this one is, gets nerfed from 25 to 20%. Also the meta talent on level 4 gets nerfed from 50 to 40. That's the PvE talent that people take. Also the meta talent on level 7, and honestly these are both getting picked on level 7. I'd say most of the time it's attack speed reduction, but the spell power reduction obviously has its place as well. And then the other level 7 talent is the fuel leak, which I mean, I think in theory it's okay, but we don't really see it. So the attack speed reduction from 50 to 35, so that's actually quite a lot, because for people, for example, if you play Tychus and you sit in your Odin and Blaze throws oil at you, it almost feels like your hero becomes unresponsive. Like, you just can't fire anymore. Like, you're just standing there. And, like, your hero is, like, not doing anything anymore. So, instead of 50%, it's 35. So, you will still notice it, but it's not as bad. It does last 1 second longer, though. The duration was increased. I think that's okay. I'm not exactly sure why they had to do this. Maybe they felt bad about just nerfing it, but it is what it is. I think that's okay. I think it's a good change. Spell power reduction reduced the reduction from 25 to 20 and from 50 to 40. So that one gets a small nerf as well. Bunker, one of the most annoying abilities actually, or ultimates in this game. Cooldown increased to 80 from 70. Flamethrower damage reduced from 170 to 150. It's quite significant. And mana cost increased as well. So three nerfs to the ultimate that gets picked, I don't know, 98% of the time. At least in higher MMR or highest MMR, it's 100% of the time. And I need to explain real quick. So if the Blaze player presses Bunker, the odds are extremely high that he gets it off, even if he is stunned or silenced. And yes, that sounds weird, but that's just how the interaction works. If he only has a single frame, he will always get the Bunker off. And actually, he will still do that. So there is no change to that. But it has longer cooldown, it costs more mana, and the burst potential, which is very underrated. People don't understand how much damage the Bunker does if people actually click on it and start shooting the fires, you know? Gets nerfed as well. So I think these are very good changes to Blaze, or very good nerfs, because the hero is absolutely S tier. Like, he's on top of the charts. Speaking of damage, his level 13E, which is by far the most meta talent on level 13, gets nerfed as well. I always thought it was very weird that when Blaze hits his E, that it does like Li Ming combo damage. I never understood why that was the case. But yeah, it gets nerfed a bit. So all these nerfs together, I think, will be noticeable. I also still think that Blaze is gonna be very viable regardless, though. But we have to see, right, how the meta shapes after that. Let's come to the next hero who actually gets a buff. That's Cassia. Auto attack damage increased. Impale level 1. That's the talent you don't really see, because you either see auto attack build or Q build. So Blizzard is giving some love to the Impale. Impale build, I guess. It's not really a thing yet, but I mean, who knows, maybe. From 50 to 70%. Thunder Stroke, that is the Q talent on level 1, gets a slight, gets a buff as well. I think this is the plain, like when you skill the damage, when you skill the talent, you get like plain damage buff on your Q, and then every time you stack your Q higher, right? So I think that's what it is. Infinite Lightning, that should be level 20 ball. Cooldown reduction reduced from 5 to 4. So it's maybe harder to get infinite lightning balls. You don't see it too often anyways though, but maybe when Blizzard looked at the charts, this was too strong. I don't know. Chen will get a buff as well. Level 1 Eye of the Tiger. Bonus damage from 40 to 50 and leech amount from 40 to 60. This is a very significant buff to the talent, and it might shape up or change up the choices of Chen on his level 1, because this sounds quite significant to me. The level 4 Flame from 20 to 30. So this should make his laning phase much better in 1v1, and honestly his laning phase 1v1 is usually already pretty decent, just because of the way he's working with the drinking, right? Drinking the shields. Gift of the Ox, bonus increased from 1.5 to 2 seconds. These are all talents though that are not meta currently, like none of these is like the meta choice on either 1, 4 or 7. And it continues like that. 13, these two talents, you also don't really take them. But maybe this will change up what the Chen players will actually go for. Touch of Honey, the slow bonus increased from 20 to 30. Ring of Fire, slight damage increased and duration increase. And then Untap Potential. Still don't know exactly if that's the 20 kek or... Wait, I will check real quick. Chen... I think that's the long drink, isn't it? No, it is the 20 kek, sorry.
Welcome back.
It is the long kek. So from, what is it, 3 seconds to 5 seconds, the armor. I don't think that makes any difference. Let's be real, I don't think that makes a very big difference. Like level 20 Chen, you usually go the unstoppable drink, because it synergizes very, very well with your kit. And if you go 20 kek, I don't know, the longer duration of the armor probably makes no difference. Like if you think about how you use kek, I don't see this to be very useful, but sure. Maybe the talent was underperforming. The next big one, Hanzo. Giant Slayer. Damage reduced from 2% to 1.6 max HP. And I was actually checking my video from last time when we talked about changes and what Blizzard should maybe look at. And I was heavily in favor of nerfing this talent because I think it's like super OP. And I was actually talking about Mephisto as well, and we will get to that now. Both Spite and Lightning Reaction will get nerfed. So the Spite bonus duration reduced from 150 to 100%. And Lightning Reaction damage nerfed. That's a level 16 talent. I think it's still crazy. And I think Blizzard maybe initially never really intended people to use it the way they do. Like you shoot your Q in a straight line and then you proc it several times on your W. And I don't even know if they can change or fix that. Like give it a hard cap. But they are trying to do it by lowering the damage a little bit. I think it is still very, very strong. And yeah, the Spite talent, I mean, funnily enough, in Aram it's disabled, right? Because it's completely busted. And I honestly thought, even in a normal game, it's close to being completely busted. It's a level 4 talent, so you basically unlock it instantly. And then as long as you play around globes, you're basically permanently nano boosted. I thought this has to get nerfed, and they're trying it, they're doing it. And as I said, the Hanzo 16, in my opinion, was also completely busted. Way too strong. And it kind of limits the choices of other talents in that tier, right? If you have one that is so much overperforming, you can't really justify the other talents, even though if they're like good. Just can't do it. And maybe now, maybe there is some wiggle room. I still think Giant Slayer is going to be very strong though, by the way. And maybe a bit more draft dependent than before though. Maybe you only really skill it against, I don't know, the big boys, Diablo, Muradin, Stitches or something. Thrall, next in line. He gets very significant baseline buffs. I did not expect that. HP goes up. His trait, the healing gets increased. Chain Lightning, bounce damage increased, and the raw damage has been increased. These are all baseline buffs, guys. This is like you start with this from the very beginning. You don't have to choose a talent or anything. These are your buttons that you start with. W cooldown reduced from 12 to 10. Honestly, I did not see that coming. I don't know if Thrall was underperforming that much, but I mean, this is pretty big. Spell Shield, his level 13 gets a buff as well. The spell armor from 50 to 70, which is very significant as well, because I believe Thrall's Spell Shield is actually really good already. Obviously, it's situational, just like any other Spell Shield, but I feel like he had one of the better ones. After these buffs, he will still struggle the same way as before, right? Because you usually draft him, or you should probably not, but a lot of people draft him as the off lane. And while he's fine in the 1v1 matchup, like brawling the other hero, he's awful at clearing waves. Or double rotating, you know, don't even try to double soak with Thrall, it's impossible. So he still struggles like that, but in any other regard, he's gonna be better. Better at 1v1s, better in teamfights. He's already very good in teamfights. He brings a lot of utility, and if you draft him as a third melee, maybe he's a lot more like Maiev and Kerrigan now. Like, maybe you can justify a lot more Thrall picks as the third melee. Because I think right now, it was only viable in, like, certain niche scenarios. But then he was actually really good already. So yeah, let's see where he ends up. Next in line is gonna be Vala. Hatred, that it's her trait duration reduced from 6 to 5. I think this is gonna be very noticeable for a lot of Vala players. But my Vala kinda sucks, so I'm not 100% confident in making a very strong statement about this, but I'm pretty sure this is gonna be very noticeable for a lot of Vala gameplay. They do buff Strafe. Damage and mana cost gets reduced. I think that's fine. I'd say overall Strafe is the weaker choice, just because Rain of Vengeance gives you so much utility. Like, you can interrupt ultimates, you can, I mean, yeah, just the extra stun gives you more uptime at damaging people as well, and so on. Following up on your tank stun, like all that utility baked into the other ult makes it very good. While Strafe, well, I mean, you do damage and you keep your hatred going actually during the Strafe. I think this is the only really positive about it. So buffing it a little bit I think is fine. Maybe it's gonna be super OP now and everyone goes Strafe. We will see. I mean, Vala is pretty high contested overall. It's a strong hero. And she does get a nerf on Manticore, which is most of the time the complete meta pick on 16. I mean, people, you know, have all kind of snowflake builds, or special builds, but usually Manticore is the pick. So from 5% to 4%. Similar treatment to what we saw with Hanzo, the percentage damage on his level 16 gets nerfed, so does the Vala. And I think it's completely justified. The thing is with Vala, so you do 3 auto attacks and the third one procs it, right? And once you get to level 20, and if you go range, you are kinda like Sergeant Hammer, and I mean, your auto attacks are crazy at that point. So the synergy is enormous for Vala, the scaling potential. And you can also go Q build, and then you have insane 20 as well with the E reset, so you get more and more Qs. So Vala actually, she said an interesting point, and I think she has a lot of different builds that are viable. And yeah, we will see how this impacts her. Maybe it doesn't matter at all. Maybe Vala will almost feel the exact same, just slightly weaker, which meant she was probably way too strong before in some drafts. Anyways, punishment, multi-shot, that's your W, mana, cost reduction by 20. That's a level 16 talent. I don't think it's very common, so it's probably okay to buff it or to make it a bit more attractive. I don't know. I think people will still go Manticore, but we will see. About the bug fixes, I went over these yesterday. I think for the most part, none of them are too important. There is this kind of bug fix where the stun would activate Stukov Super Strain twice. That's Stukov level 16. When you are stunned or root, you get a healing right away. So this is a few times in the bug fixes. What is missing in the bug fixes, and I know a lot of you Tyrael enjoyers are very sad about it, is the level 13 Law and Order, I think it's called. It's currently bugged, but actually Blizzard just didn't put it in the patch notes. It is actually, according to Spazzo, he wrote on Reddit that there's a few undocumented changes. One of them is the Tyrael level 13 that is fixed, and the other one is that certain heroes cannot get rid of the evasion, of, for example, of Genji level 7. That was also a bug that got into the game last patch, and they are fixing it this time. They just didn't put it in the notes. It is on the PTR server, so they probably have enough time to update the notes so people will know about it. But just letting you know already, Spazzo made a post about the undocumented changes. There was like ETC stuff, like with this level 1 into the... yeah, there's like a lot of things that I wasn't really aware of, and I think they probably don't matter too much. There's another one with the Super Strain of Stukov. Some floating text updates. Medivh Portal, I think so. This is... okay, let's talk about this real quick, and I think it's the one... where is it? With the birds. Is not allowed to use... that's fine. Yeah. Okay, so this one was... I'm not exactly sure what this means, but portal teleportation now happens instantly after completing the channel instead of briefly after completing the channel. So when I click the portal, there's like the channeling time, and then my hero goes through. So I think the channeling time is the exact same, but you go through quicker. So it's more snappy, I guess, to use portals, which is actually good. It's a buff to Medivh as well. Not that he needs one, but maybe, okay, maybe people will actually click your portal in Storm League. It's usually good to just click on it, guys. Using Medivh Portal no longer clears command queue. That was apparently a bug. And wasn't there... ah, yeah, here, Raven Familiar. Damage is now dealt by the portal user instead of Medivh. So I initially thought this is only affecting like the score screen. Like instead of Medivh soaking up the... like, you know, having more damage than he should because it gets listed for him. People were pointing out that if you play a hero that has like spell power, then you will actually deal more damage when you go through the portal. I guess it's kind of niche scenario, but that's how it should be, right? So, and hopefully it works that way. Who knows? Nazeebo. Let's see. Reyna's Ray. There was execute orders. Ah, yeah, this one. I think there was a funny clip on Reddit where the Yamato cannons were shooting outside the radius. So that has been fixed. Let's see. Anything else? Super Strain. No, this is I don't know. Not too important. And this is also not too important because no one skill set talent on Tracer. So the bug fixes this time not too important, but honestly, after we had like these 10,000 bug fixes, like 3 patches in a row, every single one had like a few hundred bug fixes or something. I'm not too surprised that this one doesn't have too many. And the most important, as I said, the Tyrael one and the heroes that couldn't get rid of evasion stacks, both of these, according to Spazzo, will be fixed, which are probably the one that you notice the most. And yeah, that's the PTR patch notes. big thumbs up from me, actually. I think Blizzard did a very good job again. I'm a bit surprised to say it like that, but the last few patches, they did a very good job. They nerfed Hogger, they nerfed Junkrat, they nerfed Rhaegar, you know, all these heroes at the very top of the list, Brightwing as well. And they forgot about Blaze, but now we get the Blaze nerf, and then they are buffing some heroes that are a bit worse. Like we had buffs to Lily, to Nova, we're getting buffs to Cassia, and then very specifically nerfing talents that are extremely strong, like Hanzo Giant Slayer, the Mephisto 16Q, the Spite, you know, all these things, I think they feel a little bit out of place, like how strong they are. Some of these could be probably level 20 talents, and you're like, yeah, this is your big power spike. Like now you're fully charged. Like that's how good these talents are. But you actually unlock them earlier than that. So I think they did a very good job with that. What is left on the wish list? Like who should be, I mean, there's probably quite a bunch of heroes that should be buffed, right? But is there anyone that comes to mind like really needs a buff? I guess it could buff Lily even more than they did before, but who's on the wish list for nerfs at this point? Like what is left? Like what is really terrorizing us all? I think from my POV, Tracer probably should get a small nerf. Last time I spoke about Hanzo and Mephisto and Blaze, obviously. I think those were the top 3 offenders. All of them actually get a nerf this time. So what's left? Like who's offending me? I feel like Tracer is a little bit offending. I feel like maybe Tracer needs a small nerf. We could reconsider Maiev, the buff that they gave her. You know, you unlocking 2 times your D on level 20 for free. Maybe that's something she didn't need, but Maiev is... I mean, not too many people play her, and then not too many people play her really good, besides a handful of people. I think that's why she got buffed initially. But she's very strong for sure. But yeah, outside of that, I'm not so sure. Could maybe talk a bit about Diablo or Johanna. But yeah, I actually don't know. I feel like Blizzard did a very good job with the last few patches. If they, you know, let me know in the comments actually, because we did this last video as well. And you know, maybe Blizzard is watching and reading, because they did some of these changes in this patch. So I'm pretty happy to see that. But yeah, let me know if there's anything that you have in mind that should be nerfed or that feels way too strong. Always keep me in the loop about ARAM as well. It's a game mode I don't play too much, and I know a lot of you really enjoy. So if there's something that feels really annoying in ARAM, and I know Mephisto felt really annoying in ARAM, so they removed the Spite there. Now his 16 gets nerfed a bit, so it should help. I think he's still gonna be completely insane in ARAM, just because of the way you brawl non-stop, and his whole kit is around brawling. But yeah, if there's anything else, let me know in the comments. And how do you feel about the patch? How do you feel about the last few patches that we got this year, actually? I think Blizzard, in my opinion, did a good job. So yeah, let me know, and I will see you in the Nexus again. Thank you very much for watching. I'm out.